Hi, this is a short video which will tell you a little bit more about how to approach the third part of the JEPedia assignment, which is to edit the content of the wiki. There are three main ways you might approach this. First is to edit the content of particular pages. The second is to reorganize and recategorize the pages themselves. And the third is to improve the navigation of the wiki overall or within a particular page. And I'll show you how to do each one of these. First, you might want to edit the content of a page. So for example, you can see here all the many different topics that have been added. And say you're interested in religious life. So you could click on this page to see what kind of information has been posted. And here you can see that there are several different categories: Christianity, Judaism, Islam, as well as some references at the end. But perhaps you think that there's more information you could add here. You could either edit the page by clicking here and editing the content directly in this editing page, or alternatively, you could see what other kinds of information has been posted about religion and religious life on the wiki. To do that, go up here to the search menu at the top of the page. The search menu is not very sensitive. For example, you can't simply type religio to bring up all words that have that portion of the word, such as religion or religious. It will only search for complete words. So I'm going to search for religious. And we can see what comes up here is a list of all pages on the wiki that have something to do with some reference to religious. The religious life page is the one we just looked at. Let's look here at the facilities page. So wow, on this page, you can see that there's a very, very long list, much longer than the list on the other page, for religious institutions in the University Park community. So if you wanted to edit for content, perhaps you could review this list looking for errors either in the content or in the spelling and correct some of those. So for example, you can come up here and click Edit. And say you know, for example, that 30th Street Christian Church is not, in fact, on 30th Street, but is on Western. So you could correct the address by typing it in right here and clicking Save. You might also review for grammatical errors or spelling errors. So for example, the Mormon Church is spelled incorrectly on this page. Here, it's spelled incorrectly. You can correct the spelling and save that. You could also go into much greater depth with this, adding more information about each one of these particular churches or a particular church you know more about. But say what you'd like to do, instead of editing the content of this section, you'd rather integrate pages. To do that, say that you believe that the religious facilities and congregations information would be better on that religious life page. Click Edit, highlight the information you want to move, cut it from the page, and click Save. I'm actually not going to do that. But I have it copied, and I'm going to come down here, click all pages, and I'm going to go back to that religious life page. You can paste that information into this page and perhaps reorganize it so that the Christian churches get mixed in with the Christian list here, or perhaps you could create a separate reference for Spanish language churches. You can approach this in a whole lot of different ways, but integrating pages so that they contain the right content is one very useful way of editing this wiki. So I'm not going to do that right now, though. The third main way that you might want to approach editing the wiki would be to improve the navigation. There is a main page right here that essentially serves as a table of contents for the entire JEPedia. And as you can see, there are several pages listed, but by no means are all pages listed. So if you move the content of the information about religion religious facilities from the facilities page to religious life, you might want to create a link after that to the religious life page. So to do that, you edit the page and you can enter a heading for religious life. And just for consistency's sake, we'll try to make this look the same. So this is a header. We can add a link, and it automatically pulls up the right thing given the title that you've given it. So click Add Link and click Save. And then you can see that that link will take you to the page with religious life, which again, we didn't ultimately change. Those are a few ways you might approach editing the wiki. One thing I also want to point out, however, please do not post comments at the bottom, because the comments unfortunately are not editable. But one way we could improve the wiki would be to copy and paste the contents of these discussion posts into pages where they make more sense. This was posted to the main page, but perhaps this post about Norwood Elementary would fit better on a page about education or schools. So those are a few ways you might approach this assignment. Have fun, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask your PA, or you can email jephouse@usc.edu. Thanks.